All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is October the 15th. I hope everyone is doing well. This is, if you're new here, this is our new morning show. The Steady Trader set the market. 10, 15 minutes is what we're doing, going through the markets, through the most important things that we're looking at here today. That's really what makes this show different. And let's get started here. We do this show every morning at Monday through Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern, so New York time, which is more or less right now. Hope you guys can hear me okay. As usual, if you want to quickly let us know in the chat box, that would be great. So what are we going to talk about here today? We're going to look at Boeing. I think there's a long-term play there. I'm just looking at my notes here. We are going to look at Apple. We are going to correlate that to NVIDIA and Bitcoin. And of course, we have to talk about earnings season, which really kind of plays into all of this, and then the sort of the seasonality aspect to this. Before we continue, make sure you give us a thumbs up, like, and you subscribe to the channel. That way you never miss any of these morning shows. You get alerted to new podcasts that we post every week. Great insight with guests from around Wall Street. So please do that here before we get started. Okay, so what about Boeing? There's one main point that I would like to make about Boeing, and that is that, let me move this over here, and that is that there ultimately will be, in my view, a great point to buy this stock. I don't think we're there just yet, but if you think about what Boeing is from a, it has high consequences for the United States to keep Boeing as an important manufacturer and a leading, aircraft builder. Basically, there's systemic risk here for this company to remain, a leading engineering company in the world. I think there's a backstop here. So right now, it's the whole union thing and all those problems that have kind of built up over almost a generation. But ultimately, there will be, it's like a too big to fail kind of thing. If you think about the banks, right? This is a systemically important company to the United States. So at some point, there's going to be a great point to buy the stock. I don't know where that is. I mean, right now, let me see. I haven't looked at the multiple here today, or actually over the past number of months. So that's something on me. Let me just quickly see what Boeing trades out right. That's not Boeing. That's BA, which we can talk about as well if anyone wants to. But let's see here. So the forward multiple on this, or at least the trailing multiple, and then we'll have to see what it can extrapolate that into the forward multiple. Is, if I could find it here, what a pain in the ass this website is. Where is this thing usually? Somewhere here. Here. Okay, so it doesn't even say. What a ridiculous thing. That's why I need my Bloomberg here, and I don't have it, so my apologies. Anyway, it's probably not trading very expensively. Is I guess the overall. Let's follow up on this tomorrow. I apologize. It's pathetic of me to not have the multiple here. But at some point there will be, I think, an important backstop here. So I just think this is critical to keep in mind. So I don't know when that is. Again, to reiterate, but I do think at some point there will be that. Is that at a certain level? Is it at a certain multiple? Is it at a certain price to sales? I don't know, but there will be a great buying opportunity, and then the stock could probably be a double from wherever that is over the course of time. So that's number one stock here that I'm looking at and sort of researching a little bit here as to kind of where might be that great entry point. This is a great portfolio allocation too. Will be Boeing. Again, this is going to take time. This is not something for a day trade or a swing trade, but just know that at some point there's probably going to be a major backstop opportunity here. Again, just this company is too important to the United States. That's number one. Number two, let's talk about Apple and earnings season and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, we have earnings season. And so earnings season, and of course the financials are rip-roaring. This morning I'm looking at pre-market here. Let me bring this over. We had Citigroup this morning. We had Bank of America. Let me see. And Goldman, more importantly. So Citi is up 2%. Goldman is probably up similarly, right? So this is probably a sector that is going to get a bit exhausted here in the near term. That's my thinking. I'll be watching closely the Vertical X Pro indicator, which I know a lot of you guys have. That's our extreme overbought and oversold indicator. But this is getting stretched as far as the sort of the naked eye goes. But again, of course, we want to use more than just the naked eye for this. We want to use sort of a modern indicator to tell us this. I think we're getting close, and that's something I'll be watching here as well. Now, let's talk about Apple. Let's talk about how this relates to NVIDIA, how this relates to Bitcoin, and how this relates to this whole basically seasonality story that we are seeing. So a couple of weeks ago, or maybe at this point 3 weeks ago, we talked about how Apple was seasonally and really sort of from the perspective of where it trades around its September product announcements, is likely going to undergo a consolidation period. It has done that now, okay? So this stock is consolidating. It hasn't fallen apart. That's never been the call, but it is consolidating. My call now here today is that I think this consolidation phase is nearing the end. So, and I want to walk you through here why over the next 3-4 minutes. So it comes back to where we are in terms of the liquidity picture. Now, I still have major concerns that we're going to start to see some indigestion before the election. I think if we don't, then there's going to be no rally after the election at all, and that's going to catch a lot of people off guard. But we want to keep in mind that the global liquidity picture is very strong. So global liquidity is coming back in. That's the blue line. That's basically central banks dropping rates. And make no mistake, the Fed is not lowering rates because the economy is terrible. They're lowering rates because they have to. They have to refinance trillions of dollars of debt, which we're going to talk about, by the way, this morning in the boot camp. If you have not yet signed up for the boot camp, make sure you do that. We're starting at 11 o'clock this morning. You get a free indicator for life with it. You get specific portfolio to beat inflation with it, and 2.5 days, an hour and a half each day of awesome education all around trading strategies and really about this inflation story, how to allocate and the kind of stocks to focus on. So I will drop those two links into the chat box here in just a minute, but let me go through a couple more things. So why is Apple so important here, and why does it correlate to the whole sort of broader market thing? Okay, the reason is the following. So I'm going to share with you the different charts of different stocks that really don't have, or different things that really don't have that much to do with each other, but they're all linked to liquidity. So, and actually I'm going to make these separate panes so you guys can see what this looks like. So we all know about NVIDIA, and by the way, NVIDIA hasn't broken out yet. I just want to be very clear on that. It hasn't broken out yet. It's going to at some point, but it hasn't actually broken out yet, and it's certainly not in a meaningful manner. But the naked eye tells me that both Apple and NVIDIA are doing the same thing. Why are they doing the same thing? They're doing the same thing because they're tied to this liquidity cycle, right? And let's add in something else that looks exactly the same, and that is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is probably the most sensitive to all of this, and Bitcoin has, up until last Friday, has not been making this move higher, and it's now finally starting to do it. So that's, to me, very constructive. Now, let's talk about time frames though. So I would expect if Apple goes up, NVIDIA go up, and Bitcoin will go up. Does that mean this has to happen right now? No. These stocks could easily break out a little bit and then come right back down and consolidate more. So, and then ultimately go, even early next year. There is a risk here that the more the market rallies here into the election, as I've been saying for the past couple of days here, the more that happens, and if there's almost no give back, there is a serious threat here, if you will, of us having no post-election rally, at least not for like the remainder of the year, or not like into a good part of maybe December. And then maybe we get one in the early part of next year. So there is that threat, in which case, again, the timing here is really, really important. I have no doubt that, at least at this juncture, the liquidity cycle is positive for risk assets, but it doesn't mean these things have to break out right now. We could easily see NVIDIA come right back down into this trading range. Same thing with Apple. It's entirely possible. And then, in a number of months, then make that move, right? That is possible. They do not have to break out from here. That is entirely possible. That is going to take more time. So I just want to be very clear on that in terms of my view, at least. Now, all this, however, is also tied to the inflation story, right? So not only are we very much concerned of the tailwinds, but also these are things that could do well if inflation remains stickier. Not necessarily just Apple and Nvidia. They may not do as well. They're going to underperform probably other parts of the market, but they could hold up better than other stocks because there is that inflation sort of hedge, if you will. But there are things that are way better inflation hedges. I mean, 1,000 times better, and we're probably going to outperform this, and we're going to talk about that in the bootcamp. I should quickly mention this quickly, and then we'll go through a couple of questions, and then we have to go because the Inner Circle member session starts in about 8 minutes. So if you're an Inner Circle member, we'll see you there. We've got a lot of much more detail on this. But let me quickly drop this in here. So if you are, and Nicholas, I'm going to get to your question here in just a second. If you have never been to one of our boot camps, we did one in April and we did one in June. Make sure you use this link. It's steadytradersecrets.com/first. If you have come to one before, you'd use the second link that I'm about to drop in. Basically, it's $199 for first timers. It's $99 for people who've come back. The reason you want to pay the first time fee if you've never been is because you will then also receive the bonuses. The free indicator for life that you get with it, it's a momentum indicator that you get with it. You also get with it, of course, the access to all the bonuses and the portfolios and everything that we do. And also you get access to the Bitcoin tracker, which we're about to release. So that's what's going on there. Now, Nicholas was asking, I think, a very important question. Nicholas is asking, is the SPY action considered a melt-up? Is volume giving signs? Volume is not giving a lot of signs. What is giving signs, in my view, is, and let me maybe make a new chart for this, is, Nicholas, is the breadth. If you have been following us, I don't know if you're an Inner Circle member, we've been talking about, Nicholas, the broadening of the rally since February, and the equally weighted S&P 500 is doing very well, right? So the broadening of the rally to me is more important than volume here. Volume is a pure, very near-term trading thing. What's important is that the equally weighted S&P is going higher, the market breadth, and that is happening. But just know that the broadening of the rally, for the most part, this year has been happening because consumer staples had a big move, because certain commodities are having a big move, material stocks, and utilities, right? So defensives, that's actually been a good part of the broadening. So there hasn't been, most tech stocks, the big ones, are not making new highs, right? They have not, they're basically stuck in a range since July, some of them since March. So I guess that's my best way of answering that question. So here we are, 15-minute mark. We are now moving on to Inner Circle. If you have not yet signed up for the boot camp and you want to join us here, it starts at 11 o'clock at the top of the hour today at 11 o'clock Eastern. Please make sure you do that. I'm going to quickly bring this up here so you can see this. Again, if you're an Inner Circle member, we will see you guys in just a couple of minutes. Let me also mention to you, you're welcome, Nicholas. Make sure, again, please give us a thumbs up like on the video. That's very helpful for us, and thank you so much. And please subscribe to the channel. So make sure you create a YouTube account so you can actually subscribe. Why? Because you want to be able to get our live market updates, our podcast episodes, our pop-up live sessions. That way it's all being fed to you directly without having to receive tons of emails. So that's the benefit of liking, subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much, folks. Again, I'll see you guys in the boot camp at 11 o'clock. Make sure you sign up before then. And if you're an Inner Circle member, I'll see you in about 4 minutes in the Inner Circle session. We have a live gap trade to look at as well this morning. So we'll see you there. Thanks for joining.